Hello everyone, welcome to Freedom Fighter 2127. As you would have read at the title of the video and what is currently on your screen, this is the CERN deception video that I was telling a lot of people about. The first place I want to start is March 23rd, 2015. That day will most likely just come and go because there is no imminent doom right now. Let's go ahead and get rid of that fear-mongering BS real quick before we get into this, because if you can't overcome the imminent doom feeling, then you'll never understand what CERN truly is. CERN can be summed up in a few words or in one word. In my definition, it sums up into manifestation. The manifestation of evil on earth. It's hard to fully understand how I've gotten to this conclusion. It's hard for me to even go back over all this information and refine that conclusion, because it is so much research. And that's why the first thing I want to state again is that this is just going to be a video out of a series, or an article out of a series, because it's too much for one video. It's too much for one article. This is something so massive that they can literally change the future of mankind. If you've watched some of the CERN videos of where they do their little interviews on TV, if you've watched, I mean, it took a lot longer than the video length for me to even get all the information that they were spewing. Because if you watch that video, towards the end, you can kind of see through their emotions, because I analyzed their body movement and I analyzed how they said things, or how they answered questions, or how they read their, how they gave their comments. And this was only from watching one of the interviews that they did, which was on March 12th. It was one of the videos yesterday. One of the webcasts, I should say. They're hiding something. And that's something I'm going to attempt to explain in all of this. They're telling the public one answer while they're hiding the truth. And in fact, don't even take my word for it. If you're on the website, freedomfighterreports.com, I'm going to direct you to this article. If you are not on the website right now, go to the description box below this video and click on the article. And you can either do a Control F or a find to find this quote of what I'm going to read to you next. So what is CERN? Why are we doing it? This is their quote. Why are we doing it? One answer is what we tell people. The other answer is the truth. Seek ye the truth, and the truth will set ye free. For those of you who are Christian, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you'll notice this image, the first thing I'm going to point out is that we often hear about how Satan eats its own tail, the serpent that eats its own tail. Many pictures can be depicted as a ring with a red dragon, or a dragon eating its own tail. That is a depiction of Satan. So what is CERN? I'm going to give you a little notes on exactly what it is, or according to them, I should say. It's a 17-mile underground ring. They run protons around the ring, and they to build speed. It does take quite a bit of time. That's why in the beginning of this video I told you that you've got to lose the imminent doom feeling, because March 23rd may come and pass and nothing has happened. There's a reason for that. Because the actual collision could potentially take place this time, June, the end of the year, 2016, 17, or 18. This is how they're doing things. It takes time. However, with the timing and space, everything is pointing to right now that they will get it right. There's a lot of factors, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. The biggest factor is if God allows it. Let's continue. 4 points are 4 different experiments, which, before I go any further about these 4 different experiments, here, those are the ones that we've really done our research on. The other ones, well, there's an entire list. See, they're only showing you parts and bits and pieces, what they think the populace can understand. Because we're supposed to be stupid, obese, and asleep. when really if you start paying attention, this stuff should not be allowed. The four main experiments, Atlas, Alice, LHCb, and CMS, which you can see on the screen here, 0.6, 0.3, which is kind of funny because that's the date they really did the injection tests, which, as well as their logo, which is 666, that date equals 666. Now, before we go any further about the four tests and before I show you the list of their tests, I want to tell you something. Roughly 2 weeks ago, I said that CERN was going to be done on the 20th or the 23rd, in between those dates. And a lot of people were saying, no, it'll be done on the 13th through the 15th. Let me tell you why that's not possible. Scientists are factual. Everything is precise, done at the exact moment, at the exact time. Why is March 20th the day of the solar eclipse, and it so happens to be that the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, around those 3 dates, because they don't really know when it is the spring equinox? Obviously they do. We just don't know because they don't tell us the truth. Now you'll see something in the next few portions of this video that you're going to notice that they coincide with dates. I don't set dates. These are their dates. I'm showing you their dates to the best of my ability. There is no guarantee that something will happen on those dates, but there is a possibility. And this is something that I have felt strongly about, that this is one of the biggest things in our lifetime that we must protest, rebuke, and keep watching it. Because, as the one word that can describe this is manifestation. Taking the glue that makes matter, that sticks matter together, which is called the Higgs boson. As promised, I didn't even know this existed. This is called the CERN directory. This was sent to me on YouTube, and I was so grateful I got it. Because I didn't even know this existed just until a few hours ago. And this is to the magnitude of what they're doing. Departments, groups and units, experiments and projects, all these different types of projects. What are they? You see how massive CERN actually is? It's not just something where their scientists have gone mad and they're running around with protons screaming, we found the cure to the Big Bang, or we found the Big Bang, or whatever it is that they've been yelling about on mainstream media. Okay, so jumping back to the slides. Their goal is to make a particle collision and analyze the data. Why are we doing it? I just read you this quote earlier, and I want to say it one more time. Why are we doing it? One answer is what we tell people. The other answer is the truth. Let's move on. I want you to remember that quote throughout the entirety of this video, because what you're currently looking at, as you can see in the beginning of it, is on the right side, at the bottom right side, is the modern universe, what we currently live in. What CERN, what the LHC is attempting to do is reach back in time to when there was absolutely nothing, darkness, and recreate take particles from the Big Bang. This is obviously, to me, it's stupid. Because first off, why in the world would you want to recreate the Big Bang on Earth? The Big Bang Theory, let's take God out of it for a moment here. That's what I meant to say that before I said the other thing, but let's take God out of the picture here for a minute. Why would you want to recreate the Big Bang that supposedly started everything? Obviously, they're scientists and they can't really fathom that God exists because they can't prove it. Woo. The question is, this is their lead scientist, Rolf Hewer. I want to see the first light in the dark universe, and they won't stop looking. We won't stop looking is what he said, direct quote. They're looking for new particles and supersymmetry. They're going back in time to the Big Bang, exploration of the expansion of the universe backwards in time using general relativity yields and infinite density and temperature as a finite time in the past. Just after the Big Bang, the universe was only particles or darkness. CERN hopes to find the particles that started it all and recreate it, recreating the Big Bang. That's their definition of it. However, some of these tests we should really be looking at, because what in the world are they doing? These tests, you gotta understand that these are Satanist test, excuse me. Because back in time, when the Nephilim walked the earth, they're going back to that. Now, according to eyewitness accounts, and I've got this in the article, which you can't find on Google anymore. I specifically know for a fact that there was eyewitness accounts of these. The last time they attempted this, they opened a portal. And that portal, eyewitness statements, eyewitnesses state that there were giants, Nephilim, coming through that portal. See, this is where science meets spirituality. This is where science meets the New Age movement. This is where Satanism meets the New Age movement, meets science. Obviously, if you look deeper into it, you can see where this is originally branching from Satanism. This is part of the keys to the bottomless pit that is the abyss, where what is locked away? Hell. You can find all that in Revelations, the book of Revelations in the Bible. Now, first off, before I say any more, I'm going to be called a Christian nut for this. Okay, well, I'll take my Christian self, and I see through the book of Revelations of what you're trying to do with this. This is horrible. Because that key that is mentioned to the bottomless pit, which you will open, and I'm speaking to the people at CERN, obviously not the listeners of this video, you're going to regret it. You're going to really regret what you let come through those portals and those holes. Debate. There is a debate over supersymmetry versus multiverse. Scientists are unsure if we will be going in or out of the CERN portal. My question is, in the general populace of about 8 billion people, who agreed to this? Who, besides a handful of scientists? Who agreed to this? Because I sure as hell didn't. I know a lot of others didn't either. What that means, what I'm trying to say is, we're either being pushed out to another universe or pulling more of our universe in. That might have some bad effects. Seriously, this is the mad scientist going wild. On the other hand, we have the path we have been on for the past 400 years. On the other hand, we have the idea of the multiverse, which would move us to a real picture, not of symmetry and beauty and order, but fundamentally out of chaos. But fundamentally of chaos. I can't remember where I've heard that before. It kind of sounds like order out of chaos. Because you got to remember there's a secret agenda going on here. And it's dark. Kind of like what they're doing. Searching for the, quote, light in darkness. There's only one way to get to that light, the true light, which is Jesus Christ. And then there's the false light, which is Lucifer, the devil. That brings me to this point. CERN called 2015 the Year of Light. The International Year of Light. Ladies and gentlemen, they are not talking about the light of Jesus Christ. They are talking about the light of Lucifer, the devil. Moving on. Oh, before I go any further, I almost forgot to say this. This is the second season of CERN. The scientists are breaking a new energy domain. What we have come to our conclusion is when they say breaking a new energy domain, this means that they are breaking into a new dimension, as they have been, quote, harvesting energy during the CERN shutdown. Harvesting energy. What kind of energy would this take place? Because there's a very large date that is in this, which is March 20th. 50% of Europe will be going dark. That's kind of interesting. But that's not the kind of energy I'm talking about. This is ritualistic, because the timing all matches up. There's another type of power that they're harvesting. It's called souls. Satanic rituals. The Higgs boson, found on 7/4/2012. Wait a minute. They've already found the particle. They have already found the particle that, quote, sticks everything together. So why are we still looking? Why are they still looking? It's amazing that the Higgs, the center of the Standard Model, the one thing that we have all been looking for, could also be the thing that destroys everything. That's their words, not mine. The Higgs boson holds matter together. This is where my conclusion, before I say this, look at the symbolism in this. You tell me what it comes up to in your head. You can leave it in the comment section and I'll review them later. But I'm telling you, look at the imagery and what is being depicted to you in this image. I chose this one for a reason. Look at it. The symbolism that is in this here is vital. And I'll get to that in just a second here. The HB, the Higgs, holds matter together. Manifestation is the word for this video, is the word for CERN. Because, as you'll see in the predictive programming of movies and music videos that are coming out right now and in the future, they're taking spirits and putting them into machines or other person, doing body switches, some of which has been proven, quote, impossible. But now, with the Higgs particle, they can take something and create, they can take literally nothing and create something, according to them. I don't believe that they can do that because they do have limitations. There is the law of God, and they have to answer it. Now, what exactly do I mean by manifestation? How about this? Let me explain it in this way. It has been a mystery of science to find the soul. The devil knows. But how about taking a demonic presence or a spirit and placing it into an object, if you would, or a dead person? How about that? Because with the Higgs, they can do that. It's called manifestation and possession. This particle is disastrous, and it can destroy everything. Their words, not mine. Moving on to the next one. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot this. What is being depicted here, you can kind of, from what I was looking at, I could see the sun, I can see the Mayan calendar, I can also see the pyramids. Because all of this has been done before. They think, ooh, we're finding something new. No. This is nothing new. They've done this before. This is old school. I wonder if it was done in the Egyptian schools, Egyptian magic schools. I wonder if it was taught there. Because we don't have access to those books to learn or to fight against whatever magic and spells and so on and so forth that they have. But you better believe that they have them. And they use them daily. Where do you think all this technology came from? Whisked from nothing. Yeah, right. The reason why I say a pyramid is because it's very simple. There's one side of the triangle, there's two, there's three, and there's four. And this H would be what we would call a capstone. If you haven't noticed, out of all the Egyptian pyramids, there's something missing. The capstone. And it's got to do with magnets and all kinds of different rocks. Well, what's CERN made of? Exactly. Moving on. Alright, so this is what a lot of people have been asking me about. Or what is CERN? I've gotten a lot of those questions. I've done my best to answer them as simply as possible because it's very complex. And I gotta tell you, this one tanked my mind. It really did my head in because this is huge. It's so massive, and it's just so. As you get further into doing this research, to me, it's just stupidity. I don't understand it. I don't understand why. Well, I do, but I just don't understand how people can be so naive. Because that's such a lack of faith. I mean, this level of science is the definition of atheism. Thinking that man can play God is where CERN and science meet the New Age movement. See, the New Age movement believes that man is God. We've just lost our way. That's deception. Because do you have a mistake? Has that scientist screwed up one time? Because if they did, well, guess what? They're not God. God doesn't screw up. The CERN schedule. The reason why I told you in the beginning of this to lose that imminent doom feeling, or that emotion, is because this is their schedule. They began turning it on about 6 months ago. Their words, not mine. Currently, as of now, what they just did on the 6th, 7th, and 8th, and they're currently doing, I think it's today as well, is they're testing their beams until March 23rd, 2015, which happens to coincide with the spring equinox. You think that was an accident? Oh boy, keep reading. End of March and all of April, they're recommissioning. April 4th, 2015 just happens to be a blood moon. The end of May and beginning of June happens to be the first particle collisions. I will bet you that they do it on June 21st, 2015. I will bet you that they do. Because it's the summer equinox when the sun is the strongest. There's ritualistic timing in this, and it's done to a T. 2015 was named the year CERN is prepared for full particle collisions sometime this year. September was mentioned also, which is, I mean, I can't even count the amount of things that are adding up to the end of September. September 23rd, 2015 happens to also be the fall equinox, which just happens to be exactly 6 months later from when they started this. So the spring equinox and the fall equinox are when they had this thing running. Nothing there. I promise. Nothing there. Just look over it and go back to sleep. There you go. Because around June is when they're going to do their first particle collision. And this is the big one. I'll bet you they do it on June 21st, 2015. September 28th, 2015 is a blood moon. And 2016 through 2018, they're going to continue experiments. They plan to run CERN until 2035, doing 3 years on, a year and a half off, or 2 years off for maintenance, and then turning it back on for another 3 years. Clearly, let me explain it like this. I don't know if they're going to get this correct or not, because they didn't last time, and the time before that, and the time before that, and the time before that. But what they're showing with this is something truly catastrophic. If they get it right. Let me tell you how I will know. This is for me personally, how I will know if they get it right. typical mechanics, when they turn on a car, the very second they turn on that ignition and they let it run for a second or two, they can tell if something's wrong with the car. And that is the entire scope of the car, anything in that car. Because they have worked on cars, they know cars. These scientists know CERN. They will know pretty much immediately if something is wrong. Just like a mechanic would know within a couple seconds of turning on the car that there's a squeak in the belt. Obviously, we could pick a smaller issue, but the squeak in the belt. That's the example I wanted to use. They know if something is wrong within the first few minutes of turning it on. They're currently in the testing phases. They've been powering it up for 6 months. They're going to know by now something's wrong, which they even state. There's been a couple issues. Now we are currently fixing them, and we're going to be good to go. We're going to be good to really kick it on and begin starting it up again on March 23rd, 2015, which this is why they have the hashtag, I think it's Restart LHC, because they're restarting this thing. All right, the symbolism. The first dates in March of their testing, 666, the number of the beast, 3 and 6. March 6th was the date they tested it. Really? This is how precise they are. Because the dates are so perfect. It's freaky. Let me keep going. This is their logo, 666. March 6th, 36. That's the way I would look at it. Now it gets even deeper. March 7th, 777. I could name off so many different satanic meanings to the number 7, especially when it's repeated 3 times. Aleister Crowley, Kabbalistic writings of Aleister Crowley. That's where it comes from. Now, this date happens to stand for, when it's put 777, as the lightning flash of creation. Really. Because it can be displayed as 777. This is according to Kabbalists. So, one date, which is the biblical number of the beast, the second date happens to be the lightning, quote, lightning flash of creation, when Jesus says, Behold, I see Satan falling from heaven like lightning. Now, obviously, Satan didn't create the universe. God did. But you get where I'm going with this. They believe in Satan. They think that that's who is the creator, that we are creators is the other one too. There's a lot of deception, a lot to this. Let me put it that way. The third date and the final testing date, which was recently, is by far the worst. Triple infinity. Let me explain this date as simple as possible. The third day of testing, which was on 3/8, which symbolizes the as above, so below theory, or the infinity symbol, the date can be also displayed as 888. This is pretty dark. Okay, so according to the CERN scientists who are debating the multiverse and supersymmetry, let me put this in our terms, through spiritual terms, I should say, terminology. Satanism is the dark. Luciferianism is the light. You can see the black 8, which I've got depicted here, as the multiverse theory, and the white as the supersymmetry theory. They are intertwined. You can't have light without dark, and they're trying to, quote, bring order out of chaos that is coming. They know the world has to go through the darkness, the abyss, to get to the light, or, quote, golden dawn. This is all shown in the 888 infinity symbol. 8 is a very, very symbolic number, because there are so many different things that can come from the number 8. As above, so below, infinity. And I can keep going on and on and on. But for now, with this is as they believe. I just stated what they believed. The New Agers believe in the Luciferian, light-bearing side. The Satanists obviously believe in Satanism and the darker side, through the rituals and so on and so forth. The Luciferian or the New Age people believe that they don't take part in those things when they do, typically every day, through meditations, through grid work, or that's what they call it, grid work. This is why part of my biggest things is to expose the New Age deception, because we are entering, for biblical and for Christians, the end times. We're already there, but the apocalypse, as the Bible states, through the book of Revelations, the seven seals, 7 angels, 4 horsemen. I mean, those are just obviously some of the terms of it. But to them, folks, this is their golden dawn. They think it's all peaches and roses once we get to the, quote, golden dawn, which is what they think. Now, let's move on from the symbology in the last 3 dates that they have done stuff. This is the whole point of me showing you this is hang on, let me move my notes so I don't get confused. The whole point of me showing you this is because they are so precise in their dates. Do you really think they're going to do it on the 13th to the 15th? Granted, it's Friday the 13th. Okay, moving on to the symbolism, or the through depicted pictures that they have of their facility. A beehive. That's pretty interesting. Let me explain this. A hive mind, or a group mind, may refer to a number of uses or concepts, ranging from positive to neutral and pejorative. Examples include collective consciousness or collective intelligence, concepts in sociology and philosophy. Culture, a collective of knowledge, art, artifacts, symbols, and social ritual. The beehive, it's one of the elite's symbols because they believe that their mind-controlled slaves are what make up the hive mind. This is one example of it. There's many. So through this, they're showing the beehive, their collective minds, their collective consciousness, which is another New Age belief, by the way. It's very symbolic. Everything is done to a T. Moving on. Symmetry. Recently, there was a video released, and it happens to depict practically what I'm saying. As you can see, the dancers are there. They're, again, showing the symbolism of the circle of life. The snake eating its tail. As above, so below. Scientists are working to bring entities from another realm to our world using CERN as the portal. Manifestation. That is the one word that can describe all of this. Whether they know it or not, this is what the entire agenda behind CERN is. Black and white, the polarity of molecules. See me try symmetry. Let me show you something. The Hindu god Shiva, how he is related to CERN. Why? Why on earth would you depict the Hindu god Shiva, the destroyer, out front of CERN? That right there sets how many people off into, whoa, what are you doing? The destroyer. It's just another representation of Satanism. Or, let me put it this way. When Satan was banished, many people don't know this, but 1/3 of the heavenly host, 1/3 of angels, fell with Satan. This is why we hear the Nephilim. Angels do currently fall. Today. Yesterday. It happens. Obviously, they're going to burn in hell, but it does continually happen. It's not a one and done deal. This is why it's still going on today. It's a continual process. But Shiva, could potentially be one of the Nephilim. Which, where else have we seen this displayed? We've seen this displayed in I Pet Goat. This is getting really strange, but let me show you what I'm talking about. At CERN, special plaque next to Shiva, next to the Shiva statue, explains the significance of the metaphor of Shiva's cosmic dance, with quotations from Capra. Hundreds of years ago, Indian artists created visual images of dancing Shivas in a beautiful series of bronze. In our time, physicists have used the most advanced technology to portray the patterns of the cosmic dance. The metaphor of the cosmic dance thus unifies ancient mythology, religious art, and modern physics. You see, they've got a lot of people thinking, oh, this is the first time. Well, this is our one big shot. It is not. It has been done previously, time and time again. And their agenda always is met with the hand of God. I Pet Goat, which was one of the most mysterious videos made. It depicted the end times. The dancing figure with the mask is Kali and Shiva. Who is Kali? Kali is the feminine form of Kalam. Black, dark colored. Kala primarily means time, but also means black, in honor of being the first creation before light itself. Kali means the black one, and refers to her being the entity of time or beyond time. This is their belief, not mine. Kali's association with darkness stands in contrast to her consort, Shiva, who manifested after her in creation, and who symbolizes the rest of creation after time is created. In his supreme awareness of Maya, his body is covered by the white ashes of the cremation ground, Sanskrit, I can't pronounce that, I apologize, where he, quote, meditates, and with which Kali is also associated. All of this is showing the dance of time and creation, recreation cycle that CERN plans to further. Let's jump back for a second here. The lead scientist, Rolf Hoyer. I want to see the first light in the dark universe, and we won't stop looking. Those are his words. Exactly what did I just read to you? Kali and Shiva. There is no coincidences. You should have left that theory at the door. Because this is their true meaning of CERN. Manifestation. Opening portals to hell. Or, quote, in their words, going back to the beginning of time. Earth would be depicted as the portal, which in some beliefs is actually kind of interesting, because there's a lot of people that will tell you we have not gone to space, and nor will we ever, because it's not what a lot of people think it is. It's a dimension, and in space, in the abyss, it's not physical. It's another dimension. You get where I'm going with this? This is why we, quote, have never gone to space. But what doesn't make sense to me is how we have the satellites and things on out there. This is a whole bigger conspiracy, if you would. Not really a conspiracy, because we know we haven't landed on the moon. That's for a fact. And there's a ton of NASA scientists that have said it. There's a ton of other scientists that have said that we have not landed on the moon, even though in the 60s we claimed to have landed on the moon. And Stanley Kubrick made the movie that showed that we did. Why not? Exactly what are they doing? See, the atmosphere that protects Earth could also be depicted as a portal, where what is on Earth is physical, what is out in space is not physical. You see what I'm saying? It's just a theory. Not my theory, but it is just a theory. But it's interesting. Alright, moving on. As you can see here, this is the CERN image. Man in upper left corner from Symmetry Film. is in the same exact pose as three characters in I Pet Goat: Shiva or Kali, the Antichrist, and the dancing boy in front of the supermoon. What happens on March 20th again? In Europe, a supermoon eclipse. Interesting timing, don't you think? I've always wondered, because in this exact image here, the Antichrist, or this man, is traveling through dimensions. He's skipping like 2 to 5. I've always wondered if that was mankind because of what they're trying to depict, but that's just me thinking too far, and that is not mankind. That is the Antichrist. That's what I used to wonder, though, if that's what they were depicting, because they had the mark of the beast on their forehead and so on and so forth. But I know now, and I'm trying to display to you now, that is a picture of the Antichrist. All are showing the dance of Shiva. Fritzov Capra, in his article The Dance of Shiva, the Hindu view of matter in the light of modern physics, and later in the Tao of Physics, beautifully relates the dance with the modern physics. He says that every subatomic particle not only performs an energy dance, but also is an energy dance, a pulsating process of creation and destruction without end. For the modern physicists, then Shiva's dance is the dance of subatomic matter, as in Hindu mythology. It is a continual dance of creation and destruction involving the whole cosmos, the basis of all existence and of all natural phenomena. They've done it before, folks. So before, obviously you can see runes here, but this little image on the wall here, it brings to mind, as this guy's riding on his bicycle, a Freemason's signature. It is said when a Freemason takes the, quote, Mark Master degree, I'll read this out in just a minute, but a Freemason who takes the Mark Master degree will be asked to create his own Mason's mark as a type of, quote, unique signature or identifying badge. Some of these can be quite elaborate. Typically, they all end up looking something similar to this or something like this. That's just an idea. But as you can see here, runes. Runes are magical symbols that have been created in ancient times. And they use them quite a bit through symbology, or even through some of their mythical or magical things that they do. This is from the making of the movie Symmetry. The Symmetry MM, or Master Mason. We were wondering what this means. Mark Master, Mark Man. The reason why is because of this strange symbol here. I mean, obviously it could just mean an X marks the spot or something, but as you can see, the little hooks on it mean something else. Here you go. The MM, right in the middle of Symmetry. Flip one M upside down, and it makes MW. It can mean megawatts, men and women, or as above, so below. The Creator's Project. A story about music, dance, and the origins of the cosmos. Searching for the equilibrium between art and science. These are from the people who made the movie Symmetry. And notice how it says The Creator's Project. No, that's incorrect, because there is one creator. But mankind is typically, or not typically, is trying to call themselves the creators. In ancient Egypt, there was no separation of art and science. This is where it's all been done before, I'm telling you. There was no science without art, and no art without science, such as made up in the ancient mystery schools, which nobody really knows all that much about, because they still have the books. They are hidden. Clearly, because they use it against you and I. Okay, moving on from this one. This is again from Symmetry. A very strange thing to do at CERN, because again, the dance of Shiva, the destroyer. This is the same dance that is portrayed in I Pet Goat 2 with 5 characters shown in the next slide. I'll show you, don't worry. According to, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, I apologize in advance, Kumarswamev, I have no idea, the dance of Shiva also represents his 5 activities. Shritsi, creation, evolution. Stithi, I don't know, preservation, support. Samara, destruction, evolution. Tirobhava, the illusion. And Anguhara, release, emancipation, or grace. This is I Pet Goat. They're doing the dance, all 5 of them. This is called the Dance of Bliss and symbolizes the cosmic cycles of creation and destruction, as well as the daily rhythm of birth and death. Why am I telling you this? Because this is being portrayed at CERN. What do you think they're doing? They know exactly what they are doing. Obviously not some of the low-level scientists or the people operating the machines, they might not know. But the people on the higher levels of the agenda, they know exactly what they're doing. I want to state something else before we go on to the last couple slides here. If this is the actual one, you probably won't even hear about it in the news. You know why? You'll be too distracted with war, unrest, because this stuff can't circulate on the internet of what they found. It's just like the ancient Egyptian magic in the books, their findings, what they've recreated. You won't see it. You have to believe and have faith in Jesus Christ to understand what is truly being shown, what is truly taking place right now. In I Pet Goat, when the dancing ritual is over, the Antichrist is born on earth. This is their depiction. They've shown us. They've done their part. They've shown us before they do it. That's the law. They have to do that. And as you can see, as the Antichrist comes forward, the destruction of the church. Their belief, not mine. I want to leave you with this question. Is what they're showing right here, is CERN in the I Pet Goat? Did they show us before? Because as you can see with all of this, they're very symbolic down to the T. They cross their T's and dot their I's. They've shown that through everything. Now, this is a 50-minute video, and this doesn't go into the absolute detail of literally everything. This video is meant to get you started on your research. If you didn't understand what CERN is, I hope I did my job, and I hope that I got you guys to understand exactly what they're attempting to do. And again, let me state a couple things here, and then I'm going to finish it out with a couple quotes from them. You might not see what takes place at CERN. And I tell you this in the worst way, because they will keep every person distracted. If they have done what they need to do at CERN, you can expect a world war to cover it. And you can expect Geneva won't be destroyed, where CERN is located. The reason why is because they're going to do one thing: bring order out of chaos. And that's what they're looking for, is the fundamental chaos, the order out of chaos. Let me leave you with these 2 quotes, and I really do hope that I've done a good job in portraying everything. And I'd love for you guys to leave your comments and your questions in the comment section below, or on the website freedomfighterreports.com, because I will be finishing the article I've got about this, which is where all these slides will also be portrayed as well. That way you don't have to watch the video if you don't want to. You don't have to hear me talk. You can go through them and come to your own conclusions. All the little cliff notes as well will be posted underneath each slide as well. Okay, let me leave you with these 2 quotes that I find the most interesting out of this whole thing. The lead scientist, Rolf Huer, He wants to see, I want to see the first light in the dark universe. And they won't stop looking. Why are we doing it? One answer is what we tell people. The other answer is the truth. Well, folks, seek ye the truth, and the truth will set ye free. God bless every one of you. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to, please check out the websites freedomfighterreports.com and exodusplan.net. Please also, if you are able, donate to the Truth Movement. That is the freedomfighterreports.com website. Freedom Fighter 2127 on YouTube. Thank you very much. God bless and be safe.